Animal experimentation, alternative methods. In laboratories, sweet, innocent rabbits do not receive names, they receive numbers. They are considered animals without emotion, spending their whole lives in cages being poked and prodded by needles. Rabbits are commonly used in experiments because of their calm nature and are never given medicine to ease their pain. Sadly, rabbits are not the only animals to experience this experimental torture. Primates, dogs, and many other species are treated as if they're creatures who do not experience pain the same way humans do. When scientists induce diseases in animals, the medical treatment they develop never translate to treatments for humans. Different species have different bodily reactions to chemicals and products, therefore their reactions cannot be compared to a human's productively. There are dozens of tests widely available for corporations to test their products on animals without causing any harm to them. However, many refuse the possibility of non-harmful tests because they are not required by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, or the USDA. As a pet owner myself and a makeup user, I was appalled at the testing of chemicals on animals. Before researching the topic of experimentation, I was unaware of how deep the issue went. Society ignores popular brands harming animals to produce products that range from toothpaste to cancer treatments. Today, I will be discussing the treatment of animals in scientific experiments so that you can avoid brands that cruelly test on animals and reduce your contribution. Animal tests that are currently in place are cruel and expensive compared to alternative testing that is available. The most commonly used animal in experiments are guinea pigs, used to investigate the effects of cigarette smoke, alcohol, spinal cord injuries, reproductive biology, and many more tests. These small creatures are subjected to intense pain without the aid of pain relievers just to examine their reaction, which most often does not ever translate to human DNA. According to the American Anti-Vivisection Society, 12% of guinea pigs, which is nearly 25,000 individuals, were used in experiments that involved significant pain and distress that was not alleviated by either anesthetics or analgesics. Because guinea pigs have been found to have similar biological and immune system structures, they are considered to provide essential information to biomedical research. However, they are still animals with pain receptors who feel every bit of excruciating pain the scientists inflict on them. This treatment is cruel and barbaric considering there are alternative tests available to protect these animals. Guinea pigs are not the only animals trapped in labs. Primates also receive their fair share of imprisonment. On the authority of PETA, every year in the U.S., more than 106,000 primates are imprisoned in laboratories, where most of them are abused and killed in invasive, painful, and terrifying experiments. After being bred in captivity, scientists separate mothers from their children 3 days after giving birth. Primates are very social creatures, so the isolation causes brain damage to the young babies. In labs, primates are subjected to experimental vaccines, injected with HIV-like diseases, anthrax, and in some cases, even the bubonic plague. Due to being injected with a plethora of experimental drugs, the primates suffer from organ failure, respiratory issues, weight loss, and neurological disorders before they die from an untimely death. Primates share about 99% of human DNA, so how can we as a society call ourselves moral when we allow for the mistreatment of our closest relatives on such a wide scale? This kind of torture does not stop at rabbits and primates. It also extends to man's best friend. Dogs are subjected to human disease studies of the heart and other hormonal disorders. In an undercover investigation, PETA discovered the Professional Laboratory and Research Services, the PLRS, keeping dogs in cages for years, often sitting in their own bloody feces, left infested with worms, untreated wounds, and hematomas. Although the PLRS was shut down immediately after PETA's investigation, archaic experimentation on animals continues to take place in illegal labs. Using animals to study diseases they would not typically contract, such as Parkinson's disease, schizophrenia, or HIV, is cruel because they will hardly mimic human behavior. Humans are complex creatures that are affected by socio-economic factors and genetics and cannot be boiled down to the same biological composition of a different species. After decades of research for these diseases on animals, hardly any effective treatment has been discovered, the only outcome being animal abuse on a massive scale. As stated in Cruelty Free International, out of 48 cancer drugs approved by the European Medicines Agency from 2009 to 2013 to treat 68 types of cancer, almost half showed no survival benefits. Even in cases where benefits were seen, the differences were judged to be clinically insignificant. Animals cannot keep being murdered in the name of scientific research when the results clearly show the tests are unsuccessful. In order to stop the cruel mistreatment of animals in labs, as a society we must start buying from cruelty-free companies. Many brands who are cruelty-free have a black leaping logo on their products to inform their buyers. The logo is a bunny, and by refusing to let brands profit off of animal abuse, we can work towards an ethical future. Dogs are often bought in masses from adoption agencies and are used for experimentation at universities. Could you imagine your poor runaway dog being subjected to years of torture in a lab surrounded by unfamiliar scientists in white coats? It's a horrific thought to think of these sweet and graceful animals being subjected to experimental medicines. Alternative testing, such as in vitro testing and computer in silico modeling, are available that do not involve the mistreatment and abuse of different species. By abolishing the use of animals in disease research, drug testing, and toxicity testing, and implementing in vitro testing, we can morally and more accurately mimic the structure and function of human organs and organ systems. Created by Harvard's Weiss Institute, in vitro testing provides an inexpensive and safe way to assess new drugs, chemicals, and cosmetics. CTOX, a contract research organization specializing in vitro toxicology assays, has even developed a method to assess the potential of a substance to cause a skin allergy in humans using a three-dimensional human cell-derived skin model. In vitro testing is not the only replacement for animal testing. Computer in silico modeling is also a very moral way to research drugs, chemicals, and cosmetics. Computer modeling using a sophisticated computer model to stimulate human biology. These computer models can accurately predict exactly how a drug will react when injected into a human. If research labs were to switch purely to in vitro testing and computer in silico modeling, the results would be phenomenal. Scientists would be able to create medicines and products that are actually effective to cure diseases and are safe for human consumption. Another benefit of alternative testing is the hundreds of thousands of animals, ranging from all different species, that would be saved every year. They would never have to go through the torture for the sake of research ever again. Rabbits would never go blind at the hands of scientists, dogs would never be adopted for college students to murder, and primates would never be subjected to barbaric treatment again. The use of animals in scientific research must be abolished by the USDA as it is horrific, immoral, and an ineffective way to predict how humans will react to different chemicals, products, and cosmetics. As a pet owner and a makeup user, I have been appalled by the mistreatment of animals, and I believe it should be considered animal abuse. I describe the procedures the animals are coerced through without pain relievers. I explain why these animals deserve better treatment and inexpensive alternative methods that will replace animal testing and end the suffering. By only buying from brands who use the black leaping bunny in solidarity of a cruelty-free environment, we can show companies that do test on animals where we want our money being spent. If they see they are not profiting off of their malicious research, the shift to safe and alternative testing can be made. Personally, I already buy from cruelty-free companies and plan to continue to show my support. I hope as a community we can come together and protest against the cruel conditions that innocent animals are subjected to every day.